G'day fellas, and welcome to another Beyond All Reason video. We're here once again on Forge, and I'm bringing you a brand new build order guide. We're going to start it off with 2 mexes into a wind turbine, then into a solar collector, then our lab, and then a whole bunch more solars. The idea is we want to try and get our geo as quickly as we can without losing the front. So that's what we're going to do here. Hopefully you can look to utilize this on this map, just simply because this is going to be a map that is going to be up and coming. I'm a big fan of this map, so I suspect naturally you're going to see more and more people playing it. So let's get into it. We're going to open up with a single tick from our lab, and the idea is we're going to play a greedy start. We'll play a greedy start. Excuse me, I'm still sick, so I'm not sure if you can tell in the voice. So a single tick followed by 2 Lazarus into 1 construction bot, a 3rd Lazarus, and then we're going into 5 pawns. We're going into 3 Rocketeers, a construction bot, and then 10 more pawns after that. I know that sounded complicated, but I guarantee you there is a reason why we are doing that. So we're going to help the tick out just a little bit here. We're going to move him up over to the front, give him control group 2. We'll make sure we control group all of our units, all of our important things here. Lazarus is going to be alt 3, and the reason why is because we want all of our Lazarus to automatically route. So we're just going to bring our tick here to the center. This is going to be our scout. If the enemy does look to bring any units here, we'll know, and then we can change what our plan is based on that. So that's essentially it. That's the thinking behind it. So we're going to make sure that we take advantage here of any of this excess energy that we're getting. So I'm looking at the mini-map. There doesn't seem to be anything coming through just yet. And now we're going to be looking to throw down our nano. So we're going to go around about here for our nano, just because that gives us coverage over all 3 of the geos, which we will be looking to take early on here. So we'll get the commander up here as well. A little bit out of position early on, but that's all right. And we want him to help out with the Lazarus just quickly. And we check back in on the front, nothing over here. So we're still good to keep going. And now we're just going to let this dude go. Let this dude chill. Now this is where it gets a little bit hard. So we're going to have to throw down a couple of winds. So we throw down winds. We also move our commander out at this point. So we want to throw down the winds just before we look to throw down our very first geo. And the reason why is because putting down a geo is very expensive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw down the wind or the geo here, and I'm going to turn my nano around. And when he's not, when we start to run out, we're just going to turn around like this, and boom. So I'm going to now bring my construction bot over on this position here. And we're just going to we'll throw down a couple more winds here, just like that. So let's go ahead and do that. And he's just going to turn around and make sure he assists. That's essentially the plan. So we can see out towards the middle that the enemy's already begun building up over there. So we're not going to push too much over towards their side. They see our units out here, and that's fine. We're going to let them build up. Remember that the idea is that we want to take advantage of the fact that we're being greedy here. So now that we're going to do that, we're still just waiting. Once it gets low, we're just going to help out. But we're getting a lot of energy at the moment from our allies. They're passing it over to us. Normally, we wouldn't have anywhere near this much energy. So that is definitely a good thing. And so now with the commander, we're going to throw up our radar behind our mechs. And we're just going to start off with a couple of lasers. We'll throw them up like that, the same way our enemy has done. We'll check back in over on the other side, see how we're doing. So I think that might be the last one that we need at this point. So I'm going to bring over our... we'll bring over our construction bot, and we're going to start throwing down additional nanos at this point. So just 1 extra nano. Well, hey, what don't be guarding. Why are you guarding the... Oh, my lord. Tell me about it. Oh, he's pushing up. He's doing a little bit of a push right here. Now we got the commander. We're going to bring our commander in front, just so he can't look for a D-gun here. Just to let him know that we're paying attention. So we've now got these guys, so we're going to start slowly working on them. So at this point... Hey, what are you doing? Whoa. Come on. What is that? What is that? I was going to take 3 geos. This guy's rushing a geo right here? Excuse me, mate? I had big plans for that geo. So now we've got our little Rocketeers out on the front here. So these guys are going to be just helping out a little bit, pushing up. So what we're going to do is we're going to be putting down some perimeter cameras as well, right on the perimeter, as the name would have you believe. And we're going to send you to the front. You're our construction bot. And now we're kind of left in this awkward spot, because normally I would have an extra geo, and now I don't actually have an extra geo, which is probably a little bit greedy for me. I mean, Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Bamzo, I trust you. I'm sure that you're going to be putting out some good stuff for us here. Commander, you're just going to keep throwing down more perimeter cameras. Any chance that we can get a little bit more vision is wonderful. Let's keep stepping it up over here. We don't want to go too crazy on this. And now we need to make sure that we add in a whole bunch of these bad boys right here. So we want to actually guard. Because you can see we're overflowing a lot of resources here. So we're going to continue pushing up. I still need to work out what my... Let's make sure all of our Rocketeers are fine. Oh, that's why. I'm sitting here wondering why it's taking you guys so long. Hey, buddy, calm down. You don't need to get that close. So now we want to get a Sneaky Pete up on the front here. And we're going to go for a couple of Dragon's Claws as well. And we'll also go for an Overwatch. And we'll get the commander to help out now. Oh, he's got a perimeter camera as well. So we really need to get that Sneaky Pete up ASAP. And meanwhile, back at home, so you can see that the economy started to get a little bit crazy. We're going to be throwing down a bot lab, or rather a vehicle lab here. So hopefully we've got the resources or hopefully our resources don't stack up too crazy. We're going to go into a 4th nano, even though we probably don't need it. Actually, we definitely don't need it. So we're just going to... Am I making a bot lab? Oh my gosh, Drongo. You're an absolute Drongo. That's all right, though. That's okay. So Sneaky Pete's going to come up right now and is going to sneak your heart away. All right, so we're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. I'm just going to recall my Lazarus here, and we'll also bring them out to the front line. We don't need the energy now anymore. So we just want to get as many stouts out as we can. We're queuing up 100 here. We'll just leave them out in this position. We also want to reclaim our solars, and then we can bring everything up to the front. Our Roccos are doing a great job here. Once again, we're not too worried about losing them. That's absolutely fine. All we're using these for is just to hold. So the idea is that we're just going to push in. We're going to go and really hit the enemy quite quickly. Look at this. Man, you're killing me here. You're killing me. Gosh. I mean, the Geo's nice, but if you're going to do it, you got to do it properly, son. None of that. None of that. All right, so now that metal that we're getting, we're putting straight back into stouts. And we're gonna really look to try and push our enemy here. Does he know? Oh, I guess he's already spotted it out, hasn't he? So we can just continue the repair. Are you not repairing, Commander? There we go.
T2 unit detected.
T2 units detected already? What do we got? We've got something up in the north. Doesn't look like it. Could be down here. All right, it's coming up a bit too far there. You can take some more energy. Commander in trouble. So we're going to look to... I think we just look to continue holding this position. We'll throw this down as well. All right, everything's online. So we're just spamming out. So I don't know the number, the correct number of stouts that we should be waiting for. Looks like we've got... is that a T2 coming through? Oh, he gave me the Geo? Oh, bro, thank you, but you really didn't need to. Thank you. I mean, like, I very easily could have done it myself and done it much faster. I feel like maybe he thinks he's pressured to give it to me now because I said something. So I feel bad if that's the case, because that was kind of like my reaction was like, what are you doing? Like, I actually thought it was this ally here and he was taking the central one first. I'm like, excuse me? Like, you just can't come in like that. So we're going to continue pushing up the numbers here. So I think we wait till 20 stouts. And when we hit 20 stouts, we're just going to be going into T2 after that. We can look to go into T2 vehicles. Just better, you better just trying to help. Well, we got to communicate better than that, I guess. But look, we're all learning here, aren't we? So, and this will be our last stout. And then we'll go into, I think we go to T2, we'll go T2 bots, I think is going to be the best call here. So let's cancel everything here and let's begin our attack. So I kind of want to, I just realized I'm up against true skill rating 1. So if this doesn't work, it's not going to look very good, is it? So let's bring our commander in here. Maybe we can bait a little bit out here. Get some D guns in. But we want to just try and break through and we want to hit onto that enemy backline. Commander, come up. Get a D gun in there, buddy. Come on. D gun it up. Another D gun. That'll do, Commander. That'll do. All right, so we're running through. Try and break away up to this top side. There's, this is going to be tough. right now for the enemy. We should probably try and keep everything together. I'm just going to do... Alright, now remember we got T3 or T2 behind this. I'm also going to reclaim. So let's bring everybody else up to reclaim. Commander did go down. Alright, let's see what damage we can do out here. There's a bot lab. We want to be hitting those geos though. That's going to be our main target. And you can see we've just come straight through onto the back line. Uncontested here. That's a lot. Oh, that's a lot. That's a good night, sweet prince. That's what that is. All right, let's head up to blue. That's their best player. We're in T2 now. So let's begin. We can probably get down a 4th nano here. GG gets called. Bit of a tough spot. You can see he's bringing push. So I'm gonna tell my teammates push ASAP. Because we don't want to fight him 1 by 1, right? We want to fight him 3 against 1 is what we want to be fighting. You got to fight like my Lebanese cousins. That's an Australian joke. I don't know. Some people will probably get that. Some people will not get that. But the blue player just tapped out. So we've achieved what we wanted. We can head down here. We know that there's hounds up on that top side, so we're not going to bother with him. And now we're going T2 for ourselves. We're going to get a couple of butlers out as well, just to assist, because we need to go up towards the front. But the idea is that we're going to be upgrading all 3 of these as well. And the problem's going to be that we actually don't have enough. We're not spending enough. That's pretty much it. So we have to make sure that we add in a couple of extra nanos here after our first geo power plant. But you can see that we've done a pretty decent job here. As I said, like, we're up against True Skill rating 1. You know, the reason why I've done this video is just because I get a lot of people saying, oh, I wish you'd do this in a real game environment. I wish you wouldn't, you know, do it in a skirmish. And I guess the reality is, like, I want to play Forge, and I'm playing Australian times. There's not a lot of people that play online. So, like, the best I can do on a lobby is, like, you know, there was some pretty decent players in here, but there was a lot of people that, you know, really aren't top level stuff, which sucks. But at the end of the day, it's the best I can do. And at the end of the day, I want to put out content, and I don't want to play 46 games to find the perfect one. So I hope that that's been a relatively decent demonstration for you. If you want to hang around for part 2 of the video, I will be going through the build order just once again. I've got a separate game that I prepared for you earlier. So let's get a couple more butlers out here. I don't know if do I need this many butlers? Because realistically, all we need to do is we need to just come out here, tap that. Never mind, there's a good game. 12 minutes, not a little bad timing right there for the addict of Aphis. And like, we're well and truly, like, moving mountains over here. Like, our economy is taking off. I guarantee you we're going to be, like, the top player by far. Now, obviously, we've taken 3 geos, so it's quite normal. But we will be miles ahead of anybody else. So we're on 500k energy produced. Next highest is 300k, which is our ally up here. And that's just part of the build order. So it's going to go down the screen size, because remember, my game is broken. I can't do the what's it called, the borderless. So I have to go out now into this. Let's jump into a quick replay right here. So I'll have to take you back into the full boarded game. So I do apologize. Once again, if anybody knows a fix for this, please let me know, because it's part of the reason why I'm just having a lot of trouble playing Pyre at the moment. It might seem like a big, like a small thing, right? But let me show you, right? If I'm trying to write down a build order over here, and I got to Alt Tab and got to tab back in every single time, and it takes me like, you know, 8 or 9 seconds to do that. Like, have a look at this. So ready, 3, 2, 1, 0, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's probably not seconds, but you guys get the point, right? Like, it's taken its time. It's still, my screen is still black at this point. I can see on OBS that it wasn't. So let's get into it and talk a little bit about this build order and about why we do the things that we do. We're going to do it over on this side though. So Aphis Addict coming in from the opposite side. So we're going into 2 mexes, always open with our 2 mexes first, and then we're going into wind and then a solar. And the idea is that we just want to try and get our wind online as soon as we can, because that's going to be giving us the fastest return, because even if it's 6, it's still pretty decent. But the thing is, we make these extra solars because we have so much metal on this map, because you've got these really big deposits, 4 and 4, and you're only making 2 mexes. It's pretty efficient for you to do it. And that's part of the reason why we look to get solars early. And remember, you can eat these solars up. And one of the things I did do in the first game incorrectly was I delayed eating the solars. Normally, you should look to eat your solars right after you finish your first geo. So let's speed it up. So once again, with our opening, so we go into a single tick just to do the scouting, 2 Lazarus, which are going to be sucking up these rocks, these crystals, and then into a construction bot. From there, we're going to be going into a a third Lazarus, and then into 5 pawns, then into 3 rocketeers, and then after that, normally I add in a construction bot. So you can see I've misplayed in that I've not added in that next construction bot, and then 10 more pawns after it. And so the reason why is that we start off with the 5 pawns because they're just going to be able to hold the front. And remember that we would always, if the enemy looks to try and attack us early, we would just cancel whatever we're doing and start making pawns instead. If this unit scouts out a whole bunch of, if I see like 2 or 3 AKs coming through here, I'm immediately going to start and switch over to pawns. I'm going to turn my commander around. I'm going to get him to assist. That's what's going to happen. So, to the YouTube commenter who will inevitably say, Drongo, I'd make 4 units and you'd fall over. Yeah, that's true. But remember, I would respond accordingly. So that's essentially it, right? We're making this tick so that we can respond. We're not blind. And so now that our nano's finished, the commander moves out. And once again, we're rotating our construction turret between these wind turbines. So we're going to be making a wind turbine and we're going to be making a geo. And once we've got enough resources for the geo to start, we're going to begin just slowly trickling it down. You can see we never actually switch off from the construction bot. The construction bot is always working on the power or the wind gens. And once we start getting low on energy, now we're going to switch over the construction turret from the geo over onto here. You can see we've got these issues with guard. I tell you what, the guard command is way too willing to be applied. I kind of wish that right click to guard wasn't an actual thing. Maybe I can talk to a widget maker about that, because right click to guard is just infuriating. Like, there's a hotkey for it, man. Like, I just press here, oh, guard. Like, that's it. I don't need to have right click as my guard for these large buildings. Because so many times, like, I think it happened in that game, right? Like, I guarded a turbine or something like that. It's like, why am I guarding a turbine? I mean, there can be times where it's helpful when you need to stall, but there's other ways to do that, more efficient ways to do that. So out towards the front, we've got our 5 pawns out. These guys are just going to be holding the line. So we can see that we've got the 3, 4, then there's the 5th one, and then the 3 Rocketeers. And the Rocketeers, as you saw, they're designed to deal with the light laser turrets, just to force your enemy back, just to buy you a little bit more time, because they're going to have to respond to that. When it comes to the wind turbines, it's up to you how many you want to go up to. Sometimes you get good wind, and you can go on like 6. Sometimes you get bad wind, and you have to go up to 8 or 9. So it will depend. Even with a map with... Let me turn that music down. That music is popping off right now. Even with a minimum of 6 wind, I've still played games where I sit on 6 wind for like a minute, 90 seconds, and I'm like, what is this? This is so crazy. Like, it's meant to be minimum 6, not always 6. But anyway, you get the point. So once that geo is up, you can see we've got a little bit of idle time here, but it doesn't really matter, right? Like, once the geo's up, that's all that matters, because look at the amount of energy that we've got right here. We've got a huge surplus. Even when we're making a construction turret, we still, have excess. So we need to make sure that we're reclaiming all of these immediately. Don't be worried. Like, don't be thinking, oh, I need to min-max and wait until right as I need the metal, I should do it. No, just suck them all up straight away. You don't need them ever again. That's it. These things are so expensive for metal. 150 metal for each of these. 155 metal. There you go. I gave you an extra 5. So now we are going to start working on that second geo. Don't make more than 2 nanos. You can't support it because your Lazarus are reclaiming. In addition to that, you could also have them over on the crystals, but at the same time, realistically, like, the 3rd nano is just going to cost you so much time, so it's not worth doing. So just going to the 2 nanos. And then finally for the 3rd one. So once again, sometimes you'll get it, sometimes you won't. As you saw in the last game, I think my ally kind of felt bad that I'd called him out about taking that geo with a single construction plane at 3 minutes and 12 seconds, which was a little bit strange. But yeah, but I mean, I understand, right? Like, in that position, he doesn't have a geo, and you probably should be sharing the geos around, right? Like, he's playing backline air. He wants a geo because, this player here gets a geo. I get another geo up the front here. There's lots of geos, right? There's a geo for everybody. But I'm greedy. And, it wasn't something I thought about or was prepared for. That's the first time it's ever happened as well. So I think I was a little bit surprised. But we got up to 4 nanos. Then into our geothermal power plant, and then once it's complete, you will see that we throw down a whole bunch of metal or energy converters immediately. Now, we want to guard our construction bot with 3 of these, and then the other one you can kind of leave him as a flex. He doesn't need to, you can see he's kind of like going in between it. So you want 3 guarding at all times, but the other one can flex between it. That way, at least you get your units out quickly as well. So heading out over towards the front, obviously we didn't have too much pressure in the last game. We had pretty competent allies, but generally you can expect at this stage, all you're looking to do is just not fall down. You don't want to lose any ground. That's essentially it. We've also thrown down a couple of energy converters on the front line because I figure whenever you have that excess of energy, you don't lose anything by throwing down an energy converter. The only thing you lose is opportunity cost, right? If that builder could be doing something else, because you've got that excess energy though, it doesn't really give you, well, you don't lose anything out of it. So now we're going to throw down our vehicle plant, so about 6 minutes and 24 seconds, so not a bad little timing here. We've got the 4 nanos here, just simply because, you know, I can justify 1 nano for every Geo plus 1. And we're going to start reclaiming our bot lab just so that we are going to be able to turn all of this metal into tanks and look to hit that timing. And that's essentially it. So we are just... And you can see we're actually reclaiming all the rest of the wins, which I didn't do in the last game, which I probably should have because their cap is 12, so it makes them efficient, but not overly efficient. Nothing compared to the Geo. Geo is the king of efficiency. So that's essentially it. And then I think in this game, I'm just gonna, you know, throw. I don't know how many we go up to. Let's have a look and see what we push out with here. But I feel like that's around the right number that we pushed out with before. So this is 16, 17 tanks. Yeah, so I think anywhere between like 15 and 20 tanks seems about right. But I'm curious what your thoughts are. And then we just go into T2 behind this. And then, you know, once again, it's that classic case. I'll just show you a little bit of it. So we go into the T2, get both of our mexes up, and then go straight into our advanced geothermal power plants. Now, you can play it safe. You can play the prudes, but you got to convince your ally to also do the same. And if they're playing Cortex, they don't have access to the prude, so they're not going to be going for it. So just consider that as well. And then while we're doing that, we're also making sure that we throw down a whole bunch of energy converters. And that's essentially it. So he's going to go to the front. Ideally, he probably should have thrown down the blueprint here. We also need to have a bit more build power. You can see right now how much we are struggling keeping all that metal under wraps, because not only do we have these giant metal extractors producing 16 metal each, but we've also got lots of energy converters here as well. So make sure you're thinking about that. I was kind of rationalizing. I was like, I could go into Jaguars after this because I've kind of, like, when I go and hit the enemy, I kind of open up that front a little bit, and I can run Jaguars up the ramp and probably do some damage with that. And, you know, I'm able to deal with air with Jaguars or shurikens as well. So I think Jaguars are a pretty good follow-up to what we've done. I feel like Jaguars are probably quite underrated. What did I put them in my tier list? They probably should have been higher. Yeah, I like the Jags. I think they're quite good when you get them early like that. But anyway, that's going to be it. We'll leave it there. We'll wrap it up, and we'll thank you very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.